It's Monday, May 12th, 2025, and I'm Dave Soap. 4 things to know today. A U.S. China tariff truce lifts markets but triggers CIO caution, delaying IT spend. The U.S. Copyright Office rattles the AI industry with legal warnings. AI-driven layoffs spark regret as automation misfires. And answer engine optimization emerges, changing how customers find you. This is the business of tech. Hold on to your hats, there's turbulence ahead. Global markets experienced a significant surge following an agreement between the United States and China to reduce tariffs for a period of 90 days. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent described the discussions as robust, indicating a positive shift in trade relations between the two countries. The U.S. will lower tariffs on Chinese goods from 145% to 30%, while China will reduce its tariffs on American imports from 125% to 10%. As a result, U.S. stock market futures rose sharply, with the S&P 500 futures up 2.7% and the NASDAQ 100 futures up 3.8% in early trading. CIO Dive reports that in response to economic uncertainty driven by recent tariff policies, chief information officers are cutting costs and deferring IT projects. According to a survey by Boston Consulting Group, nearly 2/3 of IT leaders identified cost management as a top priority, with over 40% reporting delays in discretionary IT projects. The survey revealed a significant shift in sentiment among IT executives since December, with many initially planning to increase budgets for artificial intelligence and cloud technologies. However, as uncertainties surrounding tariffs escalated, these leaders are now recalibrating their spending strategies. While 56% of respondents still expect to increase their budgets compared to 2024, the average anticipated growth has dropped to 2.4%. A recent experiment by Ramon Van Meer, founder of Afina, revealed that consumers are reluctant to pay more for American-made products despite claims of supporting local industries. In a test involving over 25,000 visitors to his website, Van Meer offered 2 identical shower heads, one made in China priced at $129 and one made in the USA priced at $239. The outcomes showed that while 584 customers purchased the lower-priced item, none opted for the American-made version. Van Meer's findings highlight a significant disconnect between consumer sentiment and purchasing behavior. Despite a common belief that shoppers would back American-made goods, the reality was stark. The add-to-cart rate for the U.S. version was less than 1%. Following the test, Van Meer expressed disappointment in a viral blog post, stating the results were sobering and reflecting a broader challenge for American manufacturers facing higher production costs and tariffs. Why do we care? Well, despite the headline boost to equity markets, the real signal for IT service providers lies in CIO behavior and buyer sentiment, not in futures. The U.S. China 90-day tariff truce brings short-term relief, but the lasting damage has already hit the IT budget cycle. CIO Dive's reporting reflects a shift from optimism to caution. The majority of CIOs are now deferring projects and prioritizing cost control. Even though 56% still expect budget increases, the projected growth is a muted 2.4%, significantly below forecasts. For IT services firms, especially SMBs serving SMB and mid-market customers, this means that discretionary project work is at risk. Cloud migrations, AI initiatives, and modernization programs may be postponed or scaled down, even if infrastructure support and core services remain intact. The narrative is clear. Economic volatility, not just cost, is the threat to innovation pipelines. That experiment is a wake-up call for American manufacturers and any IT provider leaning into made in the USA or local sourcing as a differentiator. The near-zero uptake of a US-made product, even with explicit labeling and identical design, demonstrates that price dominates over national origin in actual consumer behavior. For MSPs, this reinforces a critical takeaway. Value must be tangible, not ideological. If you're pitching premium services based on location or narrative rather than measurable business outcomes, expect pushback in a constrained economy. This episode is supported by Comet Backup. As IT providers, we've all been there. The phone rings, your largest client is absolutely panicked. They need you to restore their data as soon as possible. That's where Comet Backup comes in. Comet is an all-in-one backup solution designed specifically for IT professionals. Whether you need to protect computers, servers, virtual environments, emails, or databases, Comet Backup empowers you to manage backups on your terms. You choose where the data is stored, backup to local on-prem storage, or any of the leading cloud providers. Visit cometbackup.com to start your free 30-day trial today. Get $100 free credit when you sign up with the promo code MSP Radio. Comet Backup, the backup solution that MSPs trust. The U.S. Copyright Office has released a new report indicating that generative artificial intelligence companies may be infringing copyright laws by using creators' works without permission for training their models. The report suggests that while some uses of copyrighted material could be considered fair use, many AI companies risk crossing legal boundaries, especially when their outputs compete with the original works. The report highlights that the distinction between research and commercial use is crucial. For instance, utilizing copyrighted works for research purposes may not substitute for the original content, while commercial applications that generate similar expressive works do not fall under the protection of fair use. The U.S. Copyright Office emphasized that the transformative nature of AI training relies heavily on the context, source, and purpose of the materials used. Following the report's release, there was significant political fallout, including the dismissal of the office's director, Shira Perlmutter, just one day later, raising concerns about the implication for copyright enforcement in the age of AI. The Federal Trade Commission has delayed the enforcement of its click-to-cancel rule, which mandates that consumers should be able to cancel subscriptions as easily as they can sign up for them. Originally set to take effect on May 14th, the new enforcement date is now July 14th, allowing companies more time to comply with the regulations. The click-to-cancel rule, also known as the negative option rule, aims to prevent companies from creating complicated cancellation processes that differ from the sign-up procedure. The FTC has stated that the delay was necessary to assess the compliance burdens on businesses. The Commission voted unanimously for the postponement, although 2 commissioners were absent due to dismissal by President Donald Trump. This rule is intended to enhance consumer rights and simplify the cancellation process for various subscriptions across industries. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has appointed its first Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer, Jeremy Walsh, who previously worked as Chief Technologist at Booz Allen Hamilton. In the newly created position, Walsh will oversee artificial intelligence and information technology initiatives at the agency, aiming to enhance efficiency in operations, particularly in light of recent workforce cuts that included key technology personnel. Walsh's background includes extensive expertise with various government agencies, and he's been involved in projects related to cloud networks and data analytics. The appointment comes as the FDA seeks to modernize its approach to technology and improve its regulatory processes, particularly in the wake of challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic and ongoing scrutiny of government contract expenditures. Why do we care? The U.S. Copyright Office's report marks a pivotal moment for the generative AI industry, and the fact that its director was dismissed a day later signals that this isn't just a legal issue, but it's a political one. For IT service providers, particularly those offering AI solutions or integrating LLMs into client workflows, creates a landscape of increased legal ambiguity and compliance risk. You now have to ask, what is the provenance of the training data? Clients will eventually ask, regulators will definitely ask, and legal exposure is now a real and growing concern. The FTC's delay in enforcing the click-to-cancel rule until July 14th does buy some time, but don't mistake this as optional. Many MSPs and SaaS providers still operate complex or intentionally vague cancellation processes, especially around bundled services, auto renewals, or long-term contracts. This rule is an enforcement stick that puts customer experience and ethical billing front and center. One could argue that none of these stories have immediate teeth. The Copyright Office report doesn't carry enforcement weight yet. The FTC rule is delayed. The FDA appointment is one person. But brushing them off misses the point. These are indicators of institutional alignment around AI risk, consumer fairness, and regulatory modernization. Forward-looking IT service providers should act now, not react later. More than half of business leaders who laid off employees due to artificial intelligence admit they made poor decisions, according to a recent survey by OrgView. Approximately 40% of leaders reported workforce reductions linked to AI, and 55% of those acknowledged their choices were misguided. The survey highlighted significant gaps in understanding AI implementation. 1/4 of leaders were unsure which roles would benefit from AI, while nearly 1/3 did not recognize which positions were most susceptible to automation. Despite these concerns, the optimism for AI remains high, with 75% of leaders planning to fully leverage AI by the end of the year, and 80% intending to increase their investments in the technology. As organizations navigate a global skills shortage, experts warn that hastily reducing headcount without a strategic plan for workforce transformation could lead to regret. A recent report from the Society for Human Resource Management reveals that approximately 1 in 8 workers in the U.S. could face job displacement due to automation. The report notes that around 19 million jobs, or 12.6% of current roles, are at high risk of near-term displacement, particularly in blue-collar, service, and administrative support sectors. The analysis indicates that while most jobs may avoid full automation, a significant portion is already automated to some extent. Workers in high-risk categories, especially those engaged with routine tasks, are urged to reskill or upskill, with an estimated 3.2 million workers identified as being in the very high-risk group. And as highlighted by Tech Isle, artificial intelligence is becoming central to the future success of small and medium-sized businesses, with a growing demand for practical, embedded solutions that deliver immediate return on investment. Tech Isle is tracking 10 key trends that will be crucial for vendors and partners in the space. One notable trend is the rise of vertical intelligence solutions, which tailor artificial intelligence to specific industry challenges, providing measurable business outcomes. This shift presents an opportunity for channel partners to enhance their advisory roles, guiding businesses through the complexities of integrating these technologies. The emphasis is on simplifying solutions, verticalizing offerings, and embedding intelligence into everyday operations as businesses prepare for a landscape increasingly shaped by artificial intelligence. Why do we care? This isn't just a headline, it's a cautionary tale for any client viewing AI as a cost-cutting shortcut rather than a tool for transformation. There's the real insight. Routine roles are vulnerable, not work itself. IT providers advising SMBs should recognize that this automation wave is less about headcount reduction and more about workforce shift. For providers, this opens a strategic window. The organizations that panicked and automated without a roadmap now need remediation. Advisory-led providers can step in with structured AI assessments, workforce alignment plans, and implementation roadmaps that actually match tech to business value. There's also demand for retraining, reskilling, and deploying tools that make human workers more productive. AI may replace tasks, but removing people without knowing what's next is a recipe for chaos and clawbacks. A recent article from Business Insider highlights the emergence of answer engine optimization, or AEO, as a new strategy for digital marketing, shifting focus from traditional search engine optimization. As artificial intelligence chatbots like ChatGPT gain prominence in online discovery, AEO aims to optimize content for these conversational interfaces, which are becoming vital for businesses seeking visibility. In the last few months, approximately 30 AEO products have launched, indicating a rapid growth in the sector. David Slater, a chief marketing officer with experience at Mozilla and Salesforce, suggests that this trend is set to become a significant area of interest. Unlike traditional search engine optimization, which targets specific keywords, AEO emphasizes answering clusters of related questions, adapting to the dynamic nature of AI-generated responses. Why do we care? Well, the rise of AEO signals a fundamental shift in how businesses will get found online. As generative AI platforms like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google's Gemini reshape how people access information, traditional SEO will lose ground to AI-native discovery paths. This change hits at the heart of how end customers find vendors, services, and solutions. For providers, the takeaway is clear. If you're still writing content solely to rank on Google SERPs, you're playing an outdated game. Visibility now depends on being the best answer, not the best keyword match. This requires a shift in content strategy, away from static blog posts and towards structured, contextualized content that AI models can ingest and summarize. This is knowledge for you and your customers. Today's episode is supported by Huntress. Most cybersecurity solutions are built for massive enterprises with big budgets, not Huntress. They're the fully managed cybersecurity platform built for all businesses, not just the 1%. Huntress purposely builds security solutions like EDR, ITDR, SIM, and security awareness training to equip their team of elite threat hunters to handle the heavy lifting of security for you. When threat actors strike, Huntress's 24/7 global SOC shuts them down before they're even on anyone else's radar. But they do more than just chase alerts. They lead the charge in industry research and knowledge, bringing expert protection and peace of mind. That's why users on G2 rate their EDR #1 for growing businesses. To see how their expert threat hunting team gets the job done, visit huntress.com/MSP Radio. Thanks for listening. Today is National Limerick Day, so in honor of that, an MSP with a tech-savvy crew kept systems all shiny and new, with backups so tight and uptime just right, their clients had nothing to rue. I wanted to draw attention to the episode drop from the weekend of a webinar sponsored by SysCloud. It's super relevant to the discussions about AEO. Links in the show notes and description. The Business of Tech is written and produced by me, Dave Sobel, under ethics guidelines posted at businessof.tech. If you've enjoyed the show, make sure you've subscribed or followed on your favorite platform. It's free and helps directly. Give us a review, too. If you want to support the show, visit patreon.com/MSP Radio, and you'll get access to content early. Or buy our Why Do We Care merch at businessof.tech. Have a question you want answered? We take listener questions, send them in, ideally as a voice memo or video to question@mspradio.com. I answer listener questions live on our Wednesday live show on YouTube and LinkedIn. If you've got a comment or a thought on a story, put it in the comments if you're on YouTube, or reach out on LinkedIn if you're listening to the podcast. And if you want to advertise on the show, visit mspradio.com/engage. Once again, thanks for listening, and I will talk to you again on our next episode.
Part of the MSP Radio Network.